All right, so we're about to jump into episode 17, and this is with Cheese Gallery. Just a fair warning, this is more of a firearm-oriented episode. No, we're not getting into politics. We're not doing anything like that. We're just discussing the stuff that we enjoy, things we enjoy getting into, reading up, and learning about, as well as some information for those of you who are interested in NFA stuff, SBRs, cloning, and just general discussion. Again, enjoy the episode, and if you have any questions, please feel free to send us a message, either of us. Additionally, I will include Mr. Cheese himself, Instagram handle, at the end of the podcast. Additionally, there will also be a tag when we post this goes live. All right, enjoy the episode. Thank you again for everybody. Thank you for all the support. We're currently trending at 1,300 followers. Pretty big. I'm curious to see what happens towards the end of the year and see where we are. All right, enjoy the episode. Adios. Episode 17, and I'm here with the Master Cheese, the cheese himself, the big cheese. No cutting cheese, though. No cut cheese. Don't put cheese in the corner. All right, I'm done. What's going on, man? How are you doing?
I'm good. Just enjoying my wild turkey here Saturday.
Man,
trying to keep things pretty laid back.
I feel that, man. I feel that. Yeah, man. It's kind of crazy. Just it's been a wild week, regardless. But yeah, man, it's been insane. A lot of fun, a lot of highs, a lot of lows. So
yep.
But awesome, man. Yeah, thank you for joining in. It's kind of like I haven't actually had a cool chillax episode, kind of like we were just talking about a second ago, and kind of just relating. And we actually talk. Oh man, it's hard to believe, but we actually talk daily. Really think about it.
Daily, man. Yeah, thanks for having me.
I appreciate absolutely. Yeah, thanks for coming on. Thanks for scheduling. I know we both, that's the only bad thing about East Coast, West Coast it's just kind of scheduling it up stuff and kind of meeting in that middle, just where it's not inconvenient for you, and then kind of everything works for both of us. But man, awesome. So a little background, the Cheese Gallery, Ethan, but I always call him Cheese for some reason. But really cool, man. It's been a long time. And I couldn't tell you how. I don't know how I stumbled upon your actual page alone. It was a while back, but aesthetic.
So
yeah,
I remember.
Oh,
there's a dude that I follow because he's pretty knowledgeable with all things AR.
Sure.
Do you know Toptopia?
Yes.
On Instagram?
Yes.
So he must have tagged you in one of my posts about being curious about a LaRue trigger. and I think you got to commenting how you were interested in a LaRue trigger too, yada yada yada, and then the rest is history.
Bam.
So shout out to Toptopia.
Yep.
Good dude.
Yep. I'll tag him too, just so he knows. Just so he's aware. Yeah. He's being referenced in here.
Yeah.
Funny that you mentioned him, because he posted something today, and it was actually his 416. I didn't realize he had a 416, and I think actually I say that. I think I did know he had a 416 because I think I've chatted with him about it, but he doesn't post it very often. But he posted a picture of it today, and he has a standard, the OG 4 Picatinny rail 416 handguard, but it's all tan. It's
tan.
Yeah. I don't think I've ever seen one before. Now that I think about it,
I don't think so either.
Yeah. So I was
unique.
Like, yeah, it caught my eye, and I was like, damn. It's like, where'd you get that from? So. Little overlook on this episode. We're going to be chatting about all things. I actually haven't had a firearm or a gun episode in a while. So, I think for the most part, the Cheese and I are pretty on the same page on a lot of stuff. And we normally are referencing each other or discussing topics and going over certain things. So it's always kind of cool bouncing ideas off each other. And he's always very, very convincing and also very influential. We'll talk about that
bad
in a little
influence.
Bit. Yeah, he is. You're a bad influence. But of course, we'll be talking about some clone builds, some gun builds that we've done. Lower receivers, which is kind of funny because I feel like I've had a lot of people ask myself and others as well about lower receivers. Difference between lower receivers, as in you can be Gucci lower receivers or your standard lower receivers, or what a good gold standard lower receiver. I've said lower receiver like 3 times. Some NFA item stuff, Form 1, Form 4, and suppressors. We'll talk about suppressors a little bit, but we'll touch on that in a moment.
Sure. As
usual, I would always like to start off with my 3 questionnaire, no matter who the guest is. You're no exception. So let's go and get it on. We'll use this little sound pad. Let's try this out. Huh? I got to remember which one is which. Damn it. There we go. Good enough. I like that, man. I can actually redo them. I'm gonna have like a lightning strike one. But awesome, dude.
Ooh, that'd be good.
Yeah, like lightning round. Yeah. All right. Question number 1. It would be remiss of me if I didn't say, what is your favorite cheese?
Dude, lately it's been smoked Gouda, man.
Smoked Gouda.
Dude, it's been like my go-to. I think it actually started that stupid live stream that I do on Tuesdays, where I taste a different thing with Oreos every week, and I put a slice of smoked Gouda on top of an Oreo. I'm gonna get judged really hard, but I don't care. It was really good, and from there on, my latest favorite cheese is smoked Gouda, dude. Been buying it at the store every week. Stuff.
What else does smoked Gouda go with?
You know,
I'm trying to think like what's like, a
lot of dudes like to throw it on top of burgers.
Yeah.
But it's not really like a burger cheese. Like that's like more of like a cheese you eat on the side with like a platter, I think. Complements a lot of other things. You know, let the wine people tell you about that.
Yeah. I was starting to think. I feel like I've seen something with Gouda. Like for some reason, I was thinking salmon, but I don't think salmon is a complimentary dish. But
maybe I'm not. I don't know. I'm kind of like I like cheese kind of by itself sometimes. So
yeah.
I couldn't tell you.
Yeah, it's kind of like I think it's not underrated because I know a lot of people are very understanding of how complex and the amount of depth you can get into cheese. But I think in general, I think people kind of forget. Like,
I don't know shit compared to some people. You know?
Yeah, absolutely. All right. So speaking of burgers and all that stuff, salmon, a lot of blah blah blah. Savory or sweet food? What's your preference?
Oh, dude, I'm a savory guy.
Yeah.
Any day of the week.
I'm right there with you. I just don't like sweet food. Like I don't.
Yeah.
I know people will crucify me, but I actually do not like cake. Like
cake?
Like regular cake. I don't like cake.
I could pass on cake any day of the week.
Yeah. Same. Absolutely.
Not that big. Yeah. Not that high on the food chain for me.
Yeah. Me either. Yeah. I think honestly, like my favorite like sweet food is like pie. Like I like pie. Like a good fruit pie.
I get down with some pie. I think cheesecake.
Yeah.
I feel like cheesecake doesn't count as cake though, right? Like
I don't know.
It's kind of its own thing.
Yeah, it is. It's almost like a unique brand of dessert, but cheesecake is up there for me too. Like I'll kill for like a good strawberry cheesecake, like a good strawberry, not like one that's got like the artificial like syrup crap on it.
No.
Like
it'd be like a
yeah. So overrated desserts, blah blah blah. But this is something we've actually touched on a little bit. But what do you think is the most overrated movie? It can be a movie that's like overrated in a way that a lot of people like it. A simpleton kind of like thing, or it can be something that like a lot of like distinct critics really like. What are you thinking?
Man, that's a tough one. I got a lot of movies under my belt, so I get kind of lost in the sauce.
We'll say like past 10 years or so. Or most recent movie you've seen, it was like, oh man, everyone said this was such a good movie, and kind of got me hyped up, and I went and see it, and bam.
Oh man. You might have caught me here. I'm kind of like brain stumped. Yeah.
You weren't expecting that.
Let's come back to that one.
Okay.
I'm gonna have to think about that.
Think about it. I'll give you mine real quick, just off the top of my head.
Let me hear yours. Maybe you'll get the stew stirring here.
So one movie that I was really kind of excited to see, especially with a lot of critics and a lot of other people saying that they thought it was a very, very good movie. I understand it. Before people like come back and say like, oh, you just didn't get it. I understood it. The lighthouse, the lighthouse. It
You know what?
it came out and I was really excited to see it. I went and saw it, and I was like, oh my god, I was like just dragging myself to finish it. To be honest with you,
Yeah, yeah. I think I'll agree with you on that because
yeah,
I don't know if you'll agree with this part, but a good friend of mine, Izzy, described it like this. It was like a masturbatory art piece. Like it was just like kind of slow. It was like super hyped up, but then you go to watch it, and then it was just like, I don't know, man. So I'm kind of with you on that. But
yeah.
haters.
I could see that. I could see that. Like I can understand the beauty aspect of it. Like I thought the acting in it was good. It was good, like really good acting.
Yeah,
But just the whole, I feel like maybe it was the flow of it. Maybe the flow is what I just did not like.
yeah. That's kind of I agree.
Yeah.
Pacing.
Yeah. That's
Pacing
the
and
correct word.
everything.
Absolutely. Okay, so let's get into it.
All right.
Obviously, you and I are both pretty, let's say, experienced. I'll say the word experienced. We're not like freaking gunsmith,
Quotes.
master gunsmiths. Yeah, certified. Yeah. Air quotes.
Yeah.
So, but we both have been around the block a little bit, kind of gone through some stuff. We're knowledgeable enough to where we're not the usual everyday walk into Palmetto State Armory buyer. So one thing I think you and I both share is our interest in maybe clone builds. And when I say clone builds, like, so for those who are not as well versed in it, clone builds are pretty much like duplicating a military or a, what's the word? I guess it is military. So like a military firearm, small arm. Generally, right now, I think for the most part, it revolves around the M4 platform, where certain aspects are tuned or changed in parts and stuff like that. And on the civilian market, you're able to find parts that are the exact same or very similar and duplicate at least 99% of the time is the visual and performance of it. Obviously, unless you get the big dollars, you're not getting the exact same lower receiver, which is generally a fully automatic lower receiver. That's a different ball game. But everything else, the aspects of it, very, very similar. So clone builds are fun. They can also be a little weird because obviously sometimes you sacrifice some benefits of other platforms for the sake of the clone, so it may not be the best thing. But yeah. So anyway, so I was getting lost in the sauce a little bit there. So clone builds, gun builds. So what I know for the most part, I think I know what you'll say, but what's your most recent one that you've been working on?
I'm working on a M4A1 Block 2.
Yes.
I'm gonna turn it into more of like a recce, I think.
Mm-hmm.
You don't know what recce platform is. It's more of like a short for reconnaissance. I'm not a military nerd, but basically it's M4 with a low power variable optic on top of it. So you can hear me clicking the sights right now because I'm fishy. But yeah, that's what I'm working on. I'm almost done with it. I just gotta source the optic. And it runs super soft. But yeah, that's my latest.
Yeah, so the one cool thing about that one is it's been around for a while. Daniel, the primary thing I think everyone always looks at is what that gun is. It's the Block 2 handguard from Daniel Defense.
Yep, the rail.
Yep, it's always FTE, not black. No, I'm pretty sure it's never black.
I haven't seen it black.
Yeah, in the wild at least.
The wild,
right.
Quote unquote, in the wild.
Yeah. But it's just like an iconic gun. So like, of course, all the other people, I think the most iconic one everyone always knows of is the Mark 18 Block 2. Mm-hmm. This is the big brother version of it with the longer rail. And obviously there's two versions of this. You have the cooler one, the one that I wish I hadn't sold, non-front side post. Just a great all around handguard. I mean, like, sure, you're sacrificing a little bit of weight, but man, they're just bomb proof. Like, they're just
so solid.
Yeah, they really are. That weight actually does have a nice little benefit because like you said, it's just a soft shooting gun, and you're using H2 buffer, right?
Yep, H2 buffer with a blue Springco spring,
Sprinko.
so it's slightly enhanced in terms of power,
Mm-hmm.
not too much power.
I don't think I've actually ever run a Springco spring before. I've always either just used a standard one, either whatever Colt has given me, or I guess the Geisley aspect of whatever they throw in their little packages with the URGI. And somehow
Oh yeah,
I've collected like 3 of them actually. I've got like 3 or 4 of them that I have now that I've just like, how the hell did I get this many damn springs?
mid
But
spring.
yeah, I
They
mean,
do.
it's
Yeah,
okay. Like
that's okay.
they say they're not supposed to have like that twang sound. They definitely do. They definitely do. I've shot
They
2
have
of
it.
yeah, they did 2 of them both. I've shot 2 of them separate ones. Both I can hear that twang, but I mean it's not big. Didn't really bother me.
It's not a big deal.
I was looking for it.
The Springco springs, they're like $20,
Mm-hmm.
and they have like I think something like 15 million cycles in their lifetime.
Gotcha.
So like you're never gonna outshoot that spring.
Mm-hmm. I might have to just snag one, and then maybe it'll be like a, waterfall whatever snowball effect. I'll just end up getting a couple of them, but good stuff. So with that, I'll talk about what I'm in the works of. But what you say optic in a low power LPVO? Is it are they generally, is it 1x6 or 1x8, or are they changing?
So there's a pretty good article out there. I think it's on. I don't think it's Soldier Systems. It's on like a forum style. I can't remember who wrote the article. But
primary, secondary.
Maybe primary, secondary.
Yeah.
But you've seen dudes like running 1-6s, Vortexes, anywhere from like the PST line to the Razors, to the 1-8 attackers from Night Force, which are pretty sweet. And then you see the Leupold 1-6s, it's the one that I'm kind of looking at. The Mark 6 1-6. What else? I think those are like the main ones you see.
Yeah.
You see some dudes run Steiners, which not very common. I think that one's a 1-5, but yeah. Usually those are the ones you see.
Yeah, I'm going to say I think I've only seen the 3 that you just listed. Like I've seen a lot of Razors, like, which is funny because I think at one point a lot of people thought they were going to end up winning that SOCOM low power low LPVO optic contract. I think because it seemed like there was a lot of like push forward with. I don't know. I just felt like I was seeing them a lot more recent, like a lot more, and then all of a sudden that kind of died.
I think it's because Night Force.
Yeah,
Night Force was like, "Here's the 1-8 attacker," and then they were like, "Oh, nice."
Yeah.
So
well, it's funny because I'm not sure. Some dude is gonna like fucking fact check me after this, but that's okay.
Oh yeah, dude, 100%.
Yeah, but I'm pretty sure it was actually Sig who won that one. Sig won
the Tango 1-6. Yeah,
but I think they lost it because of the not being able to keep up with the need and also the amount of issues that it had. I could be wrong with that. I'm pretty sure that it had a lot of. I'm pretty sure they had a lot of issues with them, and so guys were switching out and they canceled the contract, or like the whole thing. There's like a thing with like federal contracts, if I'm not mistaken. It's like after the first year, you're able to basically exit out of the contract, and apparently, like they barely ordered a lot of them, and they barely ordered many of them after the first batch, and then after that, they just stuck with the. I think they just opted out of the second year of the part of the contract, and when they rebid it, it was actually Night Force who won it, if I'm not mistaken.
That makes sense.
I think that's how it happened, because this was all like around the time the URGI was coming out, and I think they were speccing it out in LPVO 1x6, and I know the participants were obviously the Vortex Razor was in there. That's when they came out with the Gen E, I believe. Yep. Night Forces, of course. I don't think they had the new model out, but they did have a tan anodized one. I think that was a good mix. Really cool.
You've seen some of those photos. It looks good.
Yeah, they're badass. And then, of course, the SIG. And I think the SIG, price-wise, just absolutely undercut everybody. And I think that's how they won it, which is funny because that's exactly what they did with the handgun contract. But I mean, like that's the second time that I've heard about a SIG optic basically having really bad issues and poor performance, and then people basically just ditching it. That happened also with the FBI had a contract, I believe, as well with little Romeo red dot, and the word
Really?
was, yeah, they were like trashing them, like after minor use, you'd see them in a couple pictures here and there, like training videos, not training videos, but training pics, and then all of a sudden they just stopped showing up. They started using
Endpoints replacing it.
Yep, yep. They started using because they have that little spur. Is it spur or is it spear? Whatever. That's
I think it's Spur, whatever.
yeah, spur.
Yeah.
But they have like that little iconic little aim point mount, and like that was the thing. And then all of a sudden, all those aim points started showing back up on the rifles, and then some guys were still running EOTechs and stuff. So I don't know. Every time I kind of consider a SIG optic, I kind of just ditch it. But
yeah, I don't know, man. I think if I was to clone a LVAW, maybe I would do a SIG optic. But
yeah,
aim points exist.
yeah, exactly. So for me on my build, so it's funny that you speak about aim point, because technically that's what I think I would have to end up getting at some point, but I haven't.
Yep,
made
you're gonna have to cave eventually.
Yeah, maybe we'll try. I do have to get another optic because I have more guns than optics, so I'm gonna have to sacrifice and get another optic at some point. But Noveske build, the Noveske, the secret sauce Noveske Navy,
Yeah,
I guess is technically what it's clarified. Man, it was kind of like it was not done yet, obviously. It's but it's pretty much put together. Been kind of like a roller coaster, but honestly, I shouldn't complain at all because it actually wasn't very hard. It was pretty moderately
it was like
easy.
what, 4 weeks of just great luck.
Pretty much
coming up on parts. Yeah.
Yeah, it was me.
Gosh.
It was me. It was pretty much like 20% me bitching about not being able to find it, and then 80% definitely luck of me just stumbling upon stuff. But to be fair though, like the only reason I was kind of bitching was because under normal circumstances, these parts are really easy to find.
Yeah, like you should be able to just walk into any decent gun store and be like, I'm gonna grab that.
Yep, and for a good price too, not like which I can't complain because I didn't really get any bad prices, but
you came out on top. I think.
Yeah, so but normally the prices I got were either like par or some stuff I did make out like a bandit though. But yeah, so the typical this is a secret sauce kind of like under the works thing. It's not really confidential, it's out there. So it's a 10.5-inch SBR with basically their old NSR handguard system with a Gen 1 lower receiver and a Gen 3, I think. Gen 3, I think technically is the billet upper receiver. And they use this on a 5.56 and a 300 blackout, same build. One aspect of this build that's pretty much unobtainium is the barrel. You just can't get it. Yeah, it's funny. I actually had someone message me and ask me how well I'd gone so far on it. And he was trying to buy all my parts. Actually, it's funny enough. It's like I've made it this far. I can't back down.
Can't, dude.
Yeah, and I'm actually pretty excited. I feel like I've kind of sacrificed some other stuff to build it. So, but very cool gun. The big aspect that I think that intrigues me is weight. Man, I feel like every gun that I have, especially an SBR flavor, is heavy, dude. Like,
yeah.
Oh my gosh, like
chunky.
Yeah, they are. They're all chunky. They're chunk, and like the 416 is fat with the PHT.
Yeah. For those who don't know, this build he's cloning is and whatever the Noveske Navy. So gonna replace the 416s, right?
Oh, I guess that's kind of depressing.
I think so.
Yeah, I think that's the mindset of it. But yeah. So
better be light.
Yeah, I think anything will be lighter compared to the 416, which is kind of funny. Like I know it gets a bad rep, but the 416 is a pretty solid rifle. I can't really complain. I know for what it is, and price. I think the biggest issue I have with it is price. Like is it worth the price?
Cost of entry.
Absolutely not. absolutely not. And then, of course, I think the big issue that they're having was basically just support from HK was the big thing. Not being
Kind of
able
on
to,
your own, it seems.
yeah, that's kind of crazy. And like talking with other people, and even when funny enough, I have a 416 upper. Obviously, the lower is not a authentic 416 upper lower, but the parts are. But like even that was actually the longest build I took, and I had to wait like 4 months, 4 or so months for just a buffer retainer.
Oh,
Like that's it. Like that was it. I was almost waiting for. It was just a buffer
God.
retainer. But it was actually they won't they won't make the parts in the United States. So you have to wait
Yep.
for them to basically ship it over to the United States and then through the distribution. So I was just patiently waiting for it to arrive in Germany. And you can't
Always
buy
how
it
it
from
goes.
Germany. Yep. Insane, which is funny because like if you go to European Union, you can actually buy like a lot of these parts easy, like no issues. Like
Yeah.
just I guess with the import export laws. But yeah, so back to the Noveske Navy, really cool. It's the one thing that I think is really interesting is it's on a stainless steel barrel, which I'm kind of surprised they went with a stainless steel barrel over like just a hammer forged barrel. It's kind of
Yeah,
weird.
the OTB boys are side-eyeing right now, you know.
Hilarious. I don't know. It's pretty cool. So again, that's the one difficult part to source for this gun is a special, basically specced out barrel. I mean, the one thing I want to know is I want to know the weight of it. I want to know what it weighs. I'm very curious.
Well,
Very
it's got to be
curious.
lightweight, right? So,
I don't know. I I kind of feel like it's not as light as everyone thinks, or like maybe the aspect of light isn't as much as I think it is. If that makes sense.
I don't know. There's only one person who could tell you,
I
and I
know.
don't think he's going to tell you.
I don't think he's gonna tell me either. I've tried.
Yeah.
He
Yeah.
did tell me that he would weigh the upper with and without it, like with and without
It's just
optics
a
and
weight
stuff.
difference. Yeah.
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 So when he tells me, I'll see what it
Yeah.
I'll see what it comes out to. But
Shout out to that guy. You know who you are.
yeah, you know who you are if you are listening. So one of the cool things though about it was I was looking it up and he was telling me the profile and the weight is very very similar to the Hanson by Ballistic
Oh,
Advantage.
interesting.
Yeah, so Hanson has a 10.3, I think. They don't have a 10.5. So I went and looked at that, and it's actually the same weight as the medium contour Noveske stainless steel.
Oh, interesting.
I think.
I've had one of those barrels. They're good.
Yeah, let me see. Okay, now that I say that, me mute my mic so you don't hear it clicking, but
Uh-oh.
all right, let's see. Let's take a gander right here. All right, wait. Okay, so right here, 20 ounces. 20 ounce. So that's without the gas block, I would imagine. Yeah.
Yeah, that's got to be without the gas block. Yeah.
Oh, no, actually it is.
Is it with?
It's with the gas block. So 20 ounces with the gas block, but no gas tube though, which I know that's something. So what, how much does a gas tube weigh? Like an ounce or two? Give or take?
Yeah. Unless they run Inconel. I think
Yeah.
Inconel's a little bit heavier.
Yeah.
Let's see.
So with that being said, obviously that's a little bit thinner. I know for a fact that the Noveske barrel that I have is 24 ounces. 24 ounces with the gas block as well as the gas tube. So we're saying what, a 2 ounce difference, and then on top of that, let's see here, it's like maybe, but that's also a 10.3. I don't know how much point 0.2 0.2 inches adds on, but I mean, it adds up. So I mean, really, like, there's not really that much of a difference in weight though. So it's pretty crazy.
It'll be about balance.
Yeah.
That's what I always say. When you put together a rifle, it could be whatever, 10 pounds. It could be balanced, and you wouldn't notice it.
Yep.
My opinion.
I mean, when you're talking about that many ounces, I mean, we're talking about maybe an ounce or two, if that. So pretty interesting. But yeah, so the whole aspect is definitely, I think that's what intrigued me the most, was having a lightweight gun, complete matching, and then of course you have to go send that bad boy off to get the FDE bath, which is not Magpul FDE, as specifically stated by he who shall not be named. I'm just kidding.
Yeah.
But
it's not Magpul FDE. It's just regular FDE.
Yep. standard
That's right.
Cerakote's FDE is what I was told, like Cerakote's official FDE color. But pretty cool. Pretty cool.
Yeah, it's gonna be sweet, man. It's gonna be a sweat build.
Yeah, I'm excited. I'm ready to see. It should be coming. I should be getting in the mail soon. All the parts and stuff. Not the parts, but the upper and lower receiver getting Cerakoted, and then I need to mail off my Form 1 stuff. So cool stuff.
NFA.
Yep, the NFA.
Blue.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. If you guys are curious about what this build's supposed to look like, just go troll Noveski's page. It's there. Just gotta find it.
Which was the funny thing about that, because I have seen this rifle so many times in front of me without really knowing, and they had like that cool little video. If you follow Noveski's page, where like, you know, they have like the rifle on the sand on the beach, and then like you see like the ocean rolling over, and man, they had some kind of caption to go along with it, and I was like, huh, that's a pretty cool rifle. I was like, that's pretty slick, and I had actually been kind of like eyeing it a little bit, you know, because I don't know, I'm a sucker for FDE stuff, but I was like, man, it's pretty cool, and lo and behold.
There you go.
Oh, excuse me. So yeah, very cool. That's what I'm working on. Excited to get it in. And so I think it's a good little pathway to talk about NFA stuff. NFA items. Yep. So look, you know, it's without, you know, not going into like the pistol braces thing and going on. As I've told many people, my thoughts on that are, it was a matter of time that the pistol brace stuff was going to get the axe at some point. It technically hasn't now, but well, most of it hasn't. But I think it's just a matter of time, personally, because people. I think it was you who was talking to me about it. Like people just keep mailing ATF about definition descriptions, and that just kind of prompts something for more look into. You know, it's just like, it's kind of funny. Like people have the best mind, you know, the mindset of trying to help it, but in you know, retrospect, they end up hurting it because they keep on pestering and probing.
Just don't write the ATF, please, on behalf of all of us.
Yeah, seriously, it's not worth it. I promise you, they don't care. But yeah, so that's a cool thing to discuss a little bit in the process of NFA items, Form 1 and Form 4, and we'll talk about that a little briefly. But pistol braces, you know, I think as long as, you know, all these guys talking about not complying with ATF and stuff are the same guys who I always see with pistol braces still. So you might as well just go ahead and, you know, throw that.
Slap one on, dude.
Slap that stock on, you know.
Slap it on.
Slap it on. But yeah, so obviously no one likes doing it. You got to pay the trolls toll, as I like to call it. Little Always Sunny reference in there. But Form 1. So Form 1 stuff obviously is where you are basically creating an NFA item, and is obviously it's like the highway speed now. It's not as bad as it used to be. Roughly 2-3 weeks, but
that's pretty good.
Yeah, not too bad at all. Not too bad. I think the worst part obviously is always paying that $200 tax stamp. And there's several little aspects of it, and I've actually chatted about it on the Discord a little bit on the breakdown and how-tos and what to do, what not to do, what you don't have to do. But very cool. So I think you actually just went through this process for the first time, yeah?
E-file, Form 1,
yep.
A lower, and pretty easy as long as you pay attention. I actually got one sent back. It's approved. So if there's anybody who's curious about what happens, they just tell you that it's disapproved. Even if you missed a box, you have to restart the process. So you get refunded. I think it was a few weeks for me. Then you just submit. So I got my refund. I think it was earlier this week. So you just fill out their 1994 e-file form online. It's the worst system ever. But anyway, fill it out and submit it. And then you got to fingerprints. And it's not a scary process. You just got to pay attention. You got to do photos. But, you know, yeah, it's not bad. It's really not bad. I did my own fingerprints. So, yeah, if you're curious, you have $200, just do it.
Yep. Yeah, because I mean, at this point, you know, how much does a pistol brace cost at this point? Like almost 90, $100.
That's secondary, you probably like 90. But if you buy it like, it's like $100 and then whatever,
Yeah.
I
mean, you're already almost there. You might as well just go ahead and take the plunge, and no matter what, the pistol brace is not going to be as nice as shooting from a stock. I don't care what you say. There's some that are really close. Like some are really competitively close, but
but they're still, at the end of the day, they're still flexible.
How are you going to flex for the gram?
I don't know.
I do think it's just a matter of time, though, because it's just one of those things that I feel like it's just going to be just a matter of time before something happens. And it's even right now, these pistol braces are just getting just looser and looser, as in like they just get closer and closer, looking just like a stock, and they're just making
people keep asking.
Yep.
People keep asking, and they're like, "All right, maybe we need to revisit this." It's like, no, I don't think we should. So again, stop asking.
Yeah, for real. So, but yeah, very not bad process. If you've actually purchased a suppressor from Silencer Shop and you've done the prints, you've done the fingerprinting from them, you can actually give them a call and they'll actually send you a copy of your fingerprints as well. It's like $14 to your door or something like that. I just ordered another set not too long ago. So if you don't want to do the fingerprints yourself, that's not very difficult either. I think the guy who did mine the first time, I was like, I definitely should have just done this myself. But yeah, so not bad at all. And obviously there's other forms, and there's the other form is the Form 4. So Form 4 is not necessarily, it's not the creation of an NFA item, which can be SBR, suppressor, blah, blah, blah. But it's actually the transfer, it's actually the purchase of one. So it's one that's already created. So it's like if you had sold your Form 1 SBR lower to somebody else and you're trying to sell it to someone else. It's an NFA item, so it has to be in that process of being Form 4 to someone else. So Form 4, obviously, the problem with that is buying an SBR that's already an SBR is the wait time. It's like, I'd imagine, so 5 to 10 months, on average.
I would just say, I would say 5 to 12 months.
Yeah.
That's like safe.
Yeah. So there's just no pros with that. Like, it's just a wait time for a lower receiver that takes a couple weeks. But same cost of entry, still $200. You got to do the same thing, except instead of it being e-filed and doing it yourself, you kind of have to file it, have them send a paper copy up to get that done, which is just blows my mind. We are in 2020.
School, man.
2020. Oh my gosh, man, it's just insane. We're in 2020 and you still have to send paper files off for documentation of an NFA.
Hey man, if you got time, just go to the e-file website and just look at it, dude. You can just, it's like Windows 95.
It really is, dude. It's such. I swear they make it that way just to discourage you from doing.
And if you spend too long on like one page, we'll log you out. I'm like, God, it just pisses me off. Anyway.
And there's a bunch of like weird nomenclature on there too that could just be simplified to say, hey, this is what we're looking for, not like, oh my gosh. I get it. I understand why, but still. Same thing with like asking for like the overall length of the firearm, which is funny because I actually know somebody. And he was like, I don't know why he told me. Like it's like, don't tell people that. And he was like, so what did you put down for your overall length? And I was like, I don't know, man. I just like guesstimated. I was like, I don't know. Like, what difference does it make? I mean, you don't take that advice, but I was like, what difference does it make? I just like, roughly estimated it like with a measuring tape. And he's like, oh man, I actually snapped it together real quick. And then I measured it exactly.
And I wrote in the NFA description that I put the upper on the lower, and then I measured from the back of the stock to the threads. Don't do that, by the way.
Yeah, don't do that. You might get a small knock on the phone, or like or maybe your turnaround for that Form 1 is going to take a little bit longer. Yeah. So yeah, don't do that. I was like, oh man, I was like, dude, don't tell me that. I was like, don't.
Yeah.
No, you don't want to do that.
Read some specs online.
Exactly.
Read specs online and did some basic math. Easy.
Yes, dude. I just don't understand people sometimes. Yeah. Oh man, I don't understand it. I don't understand that. But yeah, so very cool. Not bad. Not a bad aspect, especially kind of in the current times. Wait times again are not that bad. You can be patient for 2 weeks, 2 or 3 weeks. I've read several people are getting them back within like 3 weeks. Seriously.
Yeah. So I got my send back was 2 weeks exactly. So
Yep.
it was like a Monday I sent it out, and then I got it back on a Monday, and they told me it's a couple things. I think I tried to upload my photo, and then I thought it was uploaded, but it didn't completely upload. And I submitted everything. So that's why I got to send back.
Huh.
So
that's weird, dude.
Yeah.
We should
So
are they gonna require you to send fingerprints off again?
yeah. So I that's the one thing. Judge me. I emailed the ATF and I asked. I said, I need to restart the process. Then they said, yeah, prints included. So
Damn.
honestly, dude, I think they don't even like they'll get your fingerprints in and they'll throw them in a file and they won't even look at them. Like I got a buddy.
So
I got a buddy who's a lot of NFA items, and he has this game he plays where he puts a different occupation every time he submits fingerprints. So he like I think the last one he put silencer stroker. Proved. There was one, I think another one he put sandwich artist. Approved.
Hilarious.
They don't care. Like they just want your fingerprints just in case, you know.
Yeah.
So
there's not
don't sweat it.
There's not some huge secret database they've already gotten, because I'm sure they probably already have them if that was the case. Funny that you bring that up. I don't know, this is crazy. I remember I had this one tinfoil hat guy come to me about this. This was a couple years ago. Like I don't know why it just popped in my head out of nowhere, but it was just like it's like the paranoid people with turning in fingerprints. So I don't know if you remember this, but a long time ago there was a thing that Blockbuster did, and it was in correlation with the federal government on missing children stuff. And what they did was they would take your fingerprints and like, you know, you'd like a mini video or something. Man, it's such a long. I have to go look it up. I have to Google it. But anyways, they had your fingerprints done as a child, and they submitted it off, and it was like, you know, technically supposed to be on record. So, you know, if worst case, the whole aspect of it was like if you were kidnapped or something like that happened. This was in the early 90s. Right. And if you were kidnapped, they would have your prints and they would be able to help track you down and stuff like this.
Dang.
And so I remember someone told me about that, and he was like, and it was funny because like he brought it up, and I was like, damn, yeah, you know, I do kind of remember that. And he was like, man, the government already has your fucking prints.
They already got them.
Yeah, so I was like, damn, well, fuck, who cares now? But yeah, that was like that tinfoil hat, like, you know, like a conspiracy theory that was a way for them to get a copy of your prints unofficially moving forward in the future for future generations for crime and stuff like that. Interesting, but, you know, I wouldn't put it past it, but it's still pretty interesting though.
So I do have a question for people who like living in apartments. So I have like a pretty stable living situation, which I'm thankful for. But like people who live in apartments are like, yeah, I don't want to file because my place of residence is not permanent. Ooh. You know, what do you think about that?
Oh man, I feel like I can't give legal advice on this.
So you know, fair, if you're in that case, I get it. Just wait to do NFA stuff till you get a good place to live.
Yeah, I mean, like, I think it depends on what your driver's license says. Yeah,
I think so. Well, it's also too. It's important because you register. The address you put down is the address that you're supposed to give for Alphabet Boys to roll up and check on your stuff. So I think that's the main issue.
Yeah. So I mean, like I said, I'm not going to give advice on that one.
No advice, right?
Yeah, no advice on that one. I mean, I don't know. That's such a weird thing to do because even if you're paying the $200 tax stamp, the non-legal advice I would say is if you have like a permanent residence that you still receive stuff at, like your parents' house and you're at college, but you're, you know, technically at college, you know, hypothetically with a bunch of parentheses going around this conversation. Like if you're like living in an apartment in college, but your permanent address is still your parents' address. That's what your driver's license says. That you're still living in the same state, et cetera, et cetera. It's like I could understand that, but I don't know what the legality on that is, so I'm not going to say one way or the other on that one.
I
But
don't know. I wouldn't either.
yeah.
For suppressors, it's a little bit different, but
Mm-hmm.
whatever.
Speak.
Gray areas that you could go talk to a
Yeah.
legal person about.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, like, I wonder what the same thing happens if you put it on a trust. Because I mean, like, what is the trust is the trust permanent address is technically what like the home not the home occupation, but like like the primary location. So like if you have a farm trust and then the address of the farm is that. Man, I don't know. I have to look that into that. I'm not sure. It's a good question though.
Yeah, I'm not sure. Yeah, it's just an interesting topic to think about because that's what
Mm-hmm.
I think that's where the pistol brace really shines. Is
State
like
lines
that.
too.
Yeah, you have that like gray area covered,
Mm-hmm.
but eventually he's going to run out. It always does.
Yeah, the fun always ends.
That's the way it is.
Speaking of, we were just talking about the convenience factor of it. Additionally, if you have an SBR, the one big difference between a suppressor and an SBR is if you do cross state lines, there's actually an additional form that you have to send off to this is the ATF, allowing you to basically cross state lines with a SBR, well, a Form 1 SBR at least.
Please give permission.
Yep. Isn't that weird? What a weird thing. But with suppressors, you don't have to though, which is just blows my mind. So it's like you can like so for me, the two states above and below me are Georgia and North Carolina. If I wanted to visit either of those and take my gun to a range or a friend or blah blah blah, I would have to send off this permission form, this permission slip to go to the restroom. I mean, take my gun to a different state and that I've already paid $200 for to have made. Yeah. And basically just saying, hey, I have this documentation. I can go up here and go down there. But
I think you have to wait too.
Yeah,
like
yeah.
It doesn't just come back.
Right. Yeah. It's like 6. I think I had the file up and I was going to file it because I was talking about going up to North Carolina. And then obviously there's a range in Georgia as well for me. And I think it's like $60, I think. Something like that. It's actually not bad. I think I had like 3 or 4 SBRs on it. And I don't know. I'll have to look into it. I'll have to go look into it. But with suppressors, you don't have to. So there's a little info. So if you do cross state lines or if you're like close to the edge, be aware if you take your SBR, you're going to have to get that form done.
I do think, though, if you can afford NFA items, you should own them.
Yes.
It just makes them more regular amongst gun owners, and they're not so taboo, right?
Mm-hmm.
So
that's a good point. I totally agree with you, too. And I think if most people knew the entry level, not the entry level, but the entry point for SBRs and stuff, if it wasn't for the $200 tax stamp, I think a lot more people would have them. I think that's what discourages some people, and the fingerprints. And I think people just get absolutely intimidated by the entire process. But in reality, if you've filled out a 4473, which is like your standard background check, it's literally the same for 90% of it.
Same questions. Yeah. Yep. Same questions.
So very cool. But also, if someone does ask, or you're going to do it anyways, you cannot claim that $200 tax stamp on your
no, don't do it.
On your when you do your taxes. You cannot claim that $200 tax stamp. Okay. Just that is my legal advice for you. You cannot do that.
There you go.
So yeah, very cool. But additionally with NFA items, one question that I think we both receive pretty often is what lower receiver to SBR? Which I think is a funny question. That's a tough one. That's a tough one. So,
do you want to take a stab at that?
Yeah, sure. I don't mind. So with some of the common people who have asked me recent people who have asked me, obviously, I know people who have SBR'd PSA lowers. Nothing against PSA lowers. It's just that they don't cost as much compared to other ones. And so I'm just using as just a aspect and a point of view, all the way up to, Colt 416 lowers, MR 556 lowers and stuff like that. They can cost you up in the higher echelon stuff. So, I think it's your perspective, like I think it kind of depends on how you view some of that stuff. So like if you have a value or like a higher retention for certain aspects, certain low receivers, then maybe you're going to want to spend a little bit more and get a nicer low receiver and SBR it. But at the end of the day, a lot of this stuff is they're all forged lower receivers, and the biggest difference is just going to be the roll mark. And trying to sell a Form 1 or a SBR NFA item lower receiver at this point, because it's so easy to e-file, the resale value pretty much kind of goes out. That resale value aspect of it kind of goes out the window. Like, if you're going to just get tied up and you have to sell it. So personally, I think if you can find a good, solid, reputable lower receiver that's not going to like have issues later in the line, or you've owned it for a little bit and that everything is fitment wise is solid. The one thing I would say is, before you e-file, you better check in, like install your parts and make sure everything fits correctly, because nothing will be worse than paying $200, getting that lower receiver, and then finding out your mags don't drop, something is out of spec, or like you can't even get your fucking roll pin in through like the bolt catch, something like that. Like, dude, that would a bolt release. That's some shit that would happen to me. I feel like I would get so far and like get ahead of myself, and then
file it right away.
Yeah. And so definitely want to make sure that you make sure all those fitment parts and everything like that are good to go before you do it. But I mean, I think if you do that and you don't really care about what the roll mark says, then hey man, if you want to do an Anderson lower or a PSA lower, then just go do it. Or if you want something that you're putting $200 tax stamp on, and you want to spend a little bit more, well, there you go. I mean, like, what's your price point at this? 150 to 200 is kind of like that good mid tier range, which I know people are like gritting their teeth right now, but that's kind of true. Knights Ornament, LMT. I mean, that's about what that price range is now. So, I think that's kind of the entry point. That's I guess that's my opinion on it. If you're going to drop the coin,
I would say if there's a particular kind of back to cloning, if there's a particular setup you're looking to go for, right? Like a 12.5 or something that's below the 16-inch threshold that you really want to set up for. The lower that you like the best, honestly. That you think fits best with that build, or wobbles the least with the upper receiver that you have, and
that's true.
And then just go from there.
That's a good point.
Yeah, it's not like you have a little bit more loops to jump through if you need to leave the state, but like, come on, how often are you leaving the state with your guns? Like,
that's
with your long guns,
Right. So
I don't know. That's my take on it.
Yeah, I'm agree with you on that one. And I was going to say, so like even like with you just said the wobble part, and additionally, there's a lot of lower receivers now that actually have an anti-wobble, like is it anti-tilt? What is it called?
The nylon
little block. Yeah,
it's like a nylon block, and it goes. I think it pushes up against the rear takedown slot or something, and it helps take away the play. Basically, a modern day AccuWedge.
Yeah. That's right. That's it. That's accurate. And some companies actually come with like a slotted screw that actually goes in, and it can also help decrease that wobble. So like, no, I know Noveske makes one. Noveske has it where you put it in, shoot it in, and then like it'll knock away that wobble, which I'm kind of excited. I've actually never had one of those, but so that's one of those aspects of kind of a little creature comfort feature. So, and kind of like what you said, one that you're really comfortable with, one that you've already run, so yeah, or clone aspects if you want to make sure that's kind of like matching up. Like if you're trying to do like a Mark 18 and you're trying to be as close as you can, then like a Colt lower receiver, or one that you had custom, like an 80% that you had customly done, something like that. But
for what it's worth, I will say, the more I think it depends on the manufacturer, I guess, but I think the more you spend on receivers, the better they fit together. Like I have a Hodge upper on a Noveske lower, both forged. They fit really well together. LP receiver sets that I have fit really well together. But, yes, that's a little bit of a broad statement, but that's just my experience.
I'm with you too. I agree with you. I will say, which, when I bought it, it wasn't expensive. Honestly, my Colt lowers do have a little bit of wobble to them, but not bad at all. I think the one that I had that was a complete gun, like upper and lower, it's very, very minimal, and I actually scratched it like the first week I had my tax stamp. So I know exactly where like the wobble and every, like, you know, any kind of like play and stuff like that where it matches up. But it's not bad. It's actually pretty decent. But I agree with you though. It's you know, that's what you're kind of getting when you pay a little bit more, is when you're paying for a more established quality manufacturer who's basically sticking behind their product. I don't want to say a lot more, but, you know, like, you know, they've been in the game for quite some time and they know what they're doing. So, and, you know, some stuff is done in house where instead some other places are done, it's outsourced. And, you know,
It's all in the finish, right?
yeah,
Like,
yeah. So I totally agree. So sometimes you'll get like a Cerakote finish from some guys, and sometimes you'll get an anodized finish.
yeah,
I will say that one of my favorite finishes that I've seen recently, and man, it pained me to do it. It really did. Is Noveski's anodizing.
that's nice, right?
Oh man, I love it, dude. And like normally I'm not a big. I mean, I get black anodization, and but man, it's I kind of always thought it was Cerakoted, to be honest with you, just because it
Yeah,
had that little bit of sparkle to it. But it does. It has a,
thick. It's
yeah,
yeah,
very very nicely done. Like they do such a
yeah.
good job on it. I really like it.
Um, you'll find Hodge parts have that same thick anodizing
Hmm.
too. You can't really tell in photos,
Right.
but when you handle the stuff in person, you'll see. You
Yeah.
know, that's just kind of how it is.
Yeah. I will say I think and this isn't a lower receiver, but as for like anodization and then like machining process, man, I wish I could show it to you. And maybe you've already seen one, but the 416 upper is pretty incredible. The amount of like touch that they put on it. Like there's just so many aspects of it. You can just look at it and just feel like this is a much more polished, well done
Yeah,
product where they really focus on the quality control of like the actual parts. Disregard like some of the issues they may have had, but like the actual quality of parts on each thing is just, it's just unworldly different. And it really is. Like is it worth the, like you said, the price of entry we were discussing earlier? No, it's not. But,
yeah.
you know, in comparison to like, you know, your standard, like I mean, like you compare like a Colt versus a 416, but I mean, but the quality of the 416 stuff, it is pretty nice. Like it's pretty respectable for what
Mm.
they put on the touch and stuff.
I think
But
Colt is a little bit of like a stepchild situation, right? Like
yeah,
ups and downs, ups and downs.
yeah, they definitely they don't ever really know what I think they're trying to do. Like it's funny because I feel like they could make so much money. Like they could just make so much money,
Could
but they just do stupid shit like all the
yeah.
time. Like
Could change the roll mark on their lower, immediately sell a ton more rifles. Like, come on,
I don't
right?
know, like I was just gonna say if they even just sold lower receivers themselves, like if they just would sell like receiver kits or like what every other gun company does right now.
Colt is just weird. Colt's just like cannot be explained.
Yeah, man, they're weird, but they do make some quality stuff, and they've been in the game for a while, and they do retain their value like no other for some reason. They like, I guess it's just because of that aspect. But
Must be.
yeah, I mean, I don't know. I'm a little Colt fiend because I have a bunch of their lowers, but you know, I've never had any issues with them or anything like that. But there's, it's funny because I actually ran into someone not too long ago, and he was bitching and complaining about, you know, went to go to this gun store to pick up a bunch of 6920 SOCOMs, which is
Oh, wow.
it's basically kind of like, you know, for those who don't know, it's kind of like a clone of, you know, like the M4A1 for the most part. That's, used by the military. Comes with the Knight's Armament little hand kit, you know, handguard kit, et cetera, et cetera. And it comes with that really nice shooting barrel too. That's the best aspect of that
Yeah,
fucking,
SOCOM barrel.
that SOCOM barrel's nasty.
Yeah.
But he was like, man, I got it, and it had like scratches and shit all over. It looked like it had fallen off the back of a truck. I just kind of started laughing, and he was like, oh, is yours like that too? I was like, dude, it's Colt. They're
Yeah.
all like that.
Yeah.
You go look at any Colt rifle. They look like they fell off the back of a truck. Because you know what? Like you said, that stepchild, they just have like this weird thought process. It's just in reality, they just don't give a fuck. And it's such a weird
Yeah.
thing. They don't care. They really don't care. So it's kind of a cool way to have. I don't know. I guess that may rub people the wrong way. It's kind of a cool aspect to have on like a good hardy gun like that.
Yeah.
That's just going to run. Like, you know, just don't worry about what the finish looks like as long as everything is properly done. But
yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, you're going to want to use this thing anyway. I get it. Kind of like there's some dudes who, I don't know if you're familiar with Surefeed magazines.
Yeah.
Dudes will complain about getting Surefeed magazines in with like scratches on them, and you're like, they don't get that scratches are from the manufacturer testing to make sure they fit into mag wells. Like, come on, you're going to use it anyway. It's fine.
Yeah. I will say I use it. Yeah. Sorry.
Classic one is, I don't know if you saw this one, but there's on Riz 2s, on Daniel Defense Riz 2s, there is always a slight change in anodizing at the top where they hang the rail when they anodize it.
Right.
And people will like get that and they'll be like, what is that? It's a blem. And they'll send it back, right? Like, come on, dude.
There's also a little mark on the front that you'll see, and there's no anodization at all on it. I think it's exactly what you just mentioned. It's where they hang it, and it's literally just, you know, it's just like, it almost looks like something scraped it. When I first saw it, I was like, man, when the fuck did I do that? I was like, man, I must have just finger fudged that or something. I was like, I don't remember doing that at all. Like, you know, I thought I was like, I hit it with the gas block too hard or something like that. I was like, damn, that was really light, and it, you know, just completely destroyed it. And then I somehow stumbled upon someone complaining about the same thing, and I was like, huh, interesting. And they were like, no, they're all like that. I was like, oh, makes me feel a lot better now, actually. But yeah, so like you, just kind of roll with it, and if it's going to be used, you know, I understand some people have like that OCD. I used to be like that, like not letting any scratches and stuff like that. Man, once that first scratch hits it, just let it go.
Yeah, it's game time, baby.
It's game time. Yeah. So very cool. But yeah, man. So NFA stuff is fun. Obviously, I was going to talk about suppressors, but we're already at an hour. So maybe part two, we'll come back and we'll talk about
part two. Yeah, rambling.
Ramblesode. But very cool, man. So other than you're obviously going to finish building that block 2, any upcoming builds? Oh man. So part 2 is definitely going to include handguns. But ran out of time
for sure.
But anything else you're working on?
Not currently. I think I'm just going to focus on, I think both of these rifles that I just finished. Well, I didn't finish them just now, but I would say they're both tuned. That's kind of like why I like building is process of tuning them to like basically be just the way that I want them to be.
Right.
So I don't think I have anything on the horizon. That MCX upper that I need to figure out. Kind of a back burner thing, and then I did source a Hodge pinch lock rail.
Ooh.
So might be something to look forward to on the horizon, but as of right now, I think it's going to be the 2 that I have.
Yeah, I'm kind of with you on that one. I think I'm actually going to offload my URGI 10.3 upper, just because I just don't think I'm going to ever shoot it after this. Like when I get this Noveske in, it's going to completely replace it. And it's not actually much lighter than the Riz 2 Mark 18. Believe it or not, it's it's very close in weight. It's a tad lighter, but for the most part, you know, I don't know, like something about it just always just never sat 100% right. And I think this Noveske is going to completely just push it out of the way.
All the clone people are going to roll their eyes, but it's the 10.3 inch barrel. You're gonna shoot that 10.5, and it's gonna be way better.
Oh no! Don't tell me that. Well, I am kind of curious though. So it's funny because I actually haven't I have the 10.5 here, but I haven't actually I mean, I don't have an upper to put it on, but I actually haven't looked at it. You know, I haven't compared it just yet. So I'm really curious. I'm curious, you know, to throw it on there, how it all comes out. But I'm interested.
You'll see.
I'm interested. I think it kind of maybe meets that gap between the 11 and 11.5, but very cool.
Yeah.
Well, this was a lot of fun, man. We'll have to do this more often. I feel like this is a good, nice little easygoing podcast. Like I said, I don't normally do any kind of direct firearm podcasts, and I always like to have a friend on occasionally. So this was a cool one to kind of touch base, talk about some gun stuff, talk about some stuff in the works, and especially since we'd end up chatting about this and texting each other back and forth anyway. So might as well do it over there, you know.
Thanks for having me on again.
Oh man, awesome, man. I'm glad you could come on. I'm glad we get it worked out and discuss some cool stuff and maybe prompt some people to take the plunge, take the Form 1 plunge, bro.
Yeah.
All right, man. Thanks again for coming on. A lot of fun. We'll have this up soon, and have a nice evening, brother. And let's do it. Let's get these bills up, man. Let's get these NFA stuff done.
Yep. All
right, dude.
Catch you later.
Yes, sir. All right, and that concludes episode 17. Again, give Ethan a follow. His Instagram handle is cheese, common spelling of cheese, CHEESE .gallery, GALLERY. That's on Instagram. Additionally, you can follow his photography page. A little more low key, but definitely a very, very cool page. That handle is at YEOETHAN. Again, check it out. Awesome stuff. Ethan's a great guy, very knowledgeable, and I always enjoy talking and discussing with him. And I was not exaggerating when I said we chat almost daily, really. Again, give them both a follow. Additionally, onto that, if you are on Discord, please join the Discord. It is in the link tree. You can go in, jump in, discuss all kinds of topics. Let's see, I'm looking at the links right here. So we got alcoholic beverages for those of you who are over the age of 21, automotive, food, gaming, general discussion, banter, music, pets channel, stick talk, that's your firearms. Of course, some voice channels for video gaming and general chat, merchandise from other members, buy, sell, trade, general thread, deals, feedback for those buys, and of course, some creativity aspects. So all of you who are in this market can show off your stuff. And then, of course, everything is inclusion to this channel and server. So that way it's not meant to be spread out, and those will be held accountable. Anyways, give it a look. Give us a follow. Circacraft. That is Instagram, CIRCAKRAFT. A lot of big things happening. This is 11/8/2020. So it's November 8th. We have some cool stuff coming up in the works. That is for the 13th, Friday the 13th, extra spooky. Catch my drift. As planned at the moment, we are going to be doing some hoodies. You guys have been asking for them. You're going to get them. You're going to get those hoodies. Hoodies will be available November 8th. Additionally, maybe a little something else. Okay. So check it out. Again, give us a follow, subscribe, sign up for notifications, get on the YouTube channel. We did hit 100, by the way. And then everything else that we're associated with, everything is on the Instagram, on the link tree, additionally on the website. All right, guys, have a nice week. Go get that bread. Go get that dollar bills. See you.